Hello all, this is lesson number 32. This lesson is called Editing Solids, and it is going to be the first lesson of two lessons that we are going to talk about edition of solids. Solids can be edited in several ways, and among of these ways we have the possibility to change location of components, deleting component of solids, adding or removing volume, editing the shape, changing basic solid shape of the solid. This is basically what we are going to see on the second lesson, because we have a lot of options regarding that edition of the shape. Here still in the lesson where we are now, we can change visibility, color, shading or method of detection in the solid, and all the things besides the addition of the basic shape we are going to see in this lesson. I will need to make a couple of very simple solids with some options that we still did not see, and we are going to see them a little further up front in this course, but the purpose is mainly to explain you the options we have for the edition. Okay, I hope not to make you difficulties showing these commands and these options that you still did not see in this course. But let us start. I will make, as usual, a very simple solid, in this case a box. You know that I'm a fan of doing the box command for showing things in this course. So I will increase a little this. I can do something like, to be a little different, something like this, and we have one solid. Okay, so before going to the more complex area of this edition, we can edit this solid in several ways. One of the ways, and the easiest one, it is by changing its color, an edition of the color. So just click on this button here, or edit, change color, it's the same. Change color, and now you choose a new color, click on the solid, and that's it. Okay, very easy. Besides this edition, we have the possibility to change the way how we see the solids in terms of visibility, shaded or wireframe. So we can go also to the edit menu and come here and say first, to the view menu, and we can change shade wireframe display. So if you do one click, you do the wireframe. If you go on the second click, you do the shading again. Okay. In this case, if we have a second solid, and I will make a second one, I will put it a little on the side. Okay. Now we have two solids on the screen, and if I go shade wireframe, okay, again, this is something that we do for all the solids, but we have an option that is here is for everything entire display, and in this option here we have shade wireframe selected solids. Okay, so click here, turn on shading, and now we can choose the objects that we are going to put as wireframed, only this one, and this is what we can call as selective shading. Okay, so this for all, can go here, turn on shading. Okay, and then we select only what we want for the wireframe. Okay, the selective shading. Um, Besides, we have the topic of the visibility, and it corresponds to these two icons here, the blank and the unblank. That is on the menu edit, blank and blank, the same. And the blank will turn invisible what we choose. Okay, it's not deleted, just go to the back of the screen, so it is hidden. We did not see it, but it's still on the file. If you save the file, the entities are there. Okay, we can go into the unblank, and the unblank will say all objects are already visible. It is here. Okay, this is another command for working around the edition of the solids. The last one, it is regarding the 3D groups management. Okay, we can work with these around groups. So we have the 3D groups management, so we can come here and create group. So create a new group. I will say G1, for example, create a new group. I can create another one, the group 2, no problem. And now I can work around these characteristics with the solids. So solids in group, add remove solids, this one, okay, visible, blank or not, wireframe or not, it is done. If I say I can delete it or not, highlight the group, it is highlighted. I can turn to wireframe the group. I can add or remove solids. I can say add this one to the group 1. Okay, I can work around many things here. I can clear the group or delete the group, whatever I did. Okay, I can do many things with this. I can blank solids. I have a lot of things I can do. Okay, I will clear group. I will delete group and delete group and start with a new file. So these are the options to work a little around the functions of the edition. Anyway, there is one other function, and that is the purpose or the main purpose I have for this lesson. So for that, I will create again two solids. I can use the same two I was working, recreate them. Okay, I will put different colors so that we can see them better. And okay, we have two solids. Now for the addition, we can work around the addition of these solids on the transformation level. So you see that this function is transformation, copy, edit, and constraints. Okay, we are going to see a little about the constraints. That is something that we still did not see. I don't want to give you a hard time working speaking about this, but I will show only what is needed, and we will see this in one of the lessons that still remains to end this course. Okay, so I can edit the solids with this button here. Okay, and what I want to show you, first I want to show you what does this command, and then I want to show you about this selection bar that already was shown here on the other selections. So the purpose of this command is to select one of the solids, to say OK, and then I have this bar here which allows me to change the place of where this solid it is. Okay, I can work around these are the axes. You can see here Y, X and Z with the colors. Regarding the axis of the solid, regarding the axis of the space. Okay, but anyway, I can work only looking at this axis. So I can work around this in several ways. First, this is valid for all the axes. So if I click on the arrow side of one of the axes, it will open me this dialog box where I can insert a distance. So I will use this 20, it could be minus, okay, and I could make a copy, but now I will not turn this very difficult, so just a simple translation of 20 in this direction because it is positive. So okay, and it is done. Okay, the same for the other axis. If I click on this portion, it will be dynamically done in the moment. I have steps of 1 millimeter, so it is done. The same for the rotation. So if I click on the arrow, the rotation will be controlled, and I can use either these already inserted angles, positive or negative, positive on the direction of the arrow or negative on the opposite. So I can use this 90, okay, it is done, okay. Or I can use this part without the arrow, and again it will be dynamic. It is the same idea, okay. So with this only working on the axis level, I have a lot of things that are going on. So it will correspond with this by distance or dynamic, okay. I can define vectors. I will remain for this only for these things here. The same around these are for rotations, around X by angle, around X dynamic, and additional rotation around X. Let us keep at this moment for these two that we've seen and are very easy, okay? For sure I can make definition of axis also. It was a way to make this a little complex. I can define some vectors. For now I will not touch this. I can do this according to the axis of the solid, the part of the solid, or the world coordinates. I will not go through this also. I can do this position according to normals of the objects I have here. So I could do this, for example, on the X, I could do this, for example, against normal of this one here. You see it's changing according to that position, and it is looking, so if it is opposite, for example, on this face, so you see that the red arrow is on the other direction, okay. I could do the same for the other axis, or I could work plan to plan or normal to normal. So plan to plan, if I choose this guy here, for example, sorry, let's do this again. So translate, okay, now plan to plan. So, and I can choose, for example, this plan on the solid, and I can choose a plan on the other solid. So for example, and it look one plan to the other, okay. I can position considering the point where the solid is inserted. I can say, now I want to move this solid considering this point, and I will put this point, for example, in this point here, okay. And you see that has done this, and I can use these selections for remarkable points like the end points or midpoints, whatever it is. I have these helps where I can choose directly end point, the center, or these options here, or for example something like this middle of half between 2 points, and I can choose, for example, middle here and the middle here, and automatically choose the halfway of these two. So I have a couple of options, or I can do something which is very useful also. I can choose the insertion point of another solid, for example, which is useful also. Sorry, this is for the one element of the solid, and I will explain what it is. Or the solid itself insertion point. Or if I'm having problems with this point where my solid has as a reference, I can say, hey, I need to give one other point. So click on this option here. Basically it will open me the same options, and I can give another point to be reference in my solid. Okay, now I have the exact same possibilities, but I'm acting with a new reference. Okay, basically these are the options to work around this. Okay, and there are a couple of different issues, but this will give you already a lot of tools. When I'm happy with the situation, I could have some constraints and so on. I will explain you after, and just do the insert, and the solid is inserted on the other position. Okay, this is to explain you that basically this function for the addition, it will allow you to change the position, the rotations, the translation, whatever it is for the solid. Okay, but when we open this function and we get this toolbar that says 3D selection, we have a lot of options that we can consider to work with this. Okay, and this is to finish. These are the options that I want to show you because these are important things. Okay, so starting, the first one is select entire solids. So basically, sorry, I can choose all the solids inside. Okay, I can also select single elements of one solid. In this case I don't have any. I will create something, and you can see the graphics because this is quite interesting. The colors here is everything, here is just one thing of the whole, and here it is a branch. Okay, I will explain you the difference. First I need to create, for example, we still did not see, but I will create one hole in this solid here, and let us say, for example, 10 millimeters. We'll increase a little this, and now it is, again, it is a location, so I will say, as we've seen, halfway for these two guys, and you already seen also that I can do something like this, and it is positioned. Very good. Now I will say, okay, it is a hole, it will create a hole. Okay, no problem. Now let us make the addition. You've seen this one. Now I will choose this one, and this one, it allow me to, or I can choose the complete solid because it's also one element, or I can choose only one part of the solid, and in this case if I choose the whole, now I have the possibility to change it of position. Okay, so this is single element. It can be other things, but it is, in this case, I think it will show you exactly the meaning of this. So it is a single element of one solid. Okay, for example, we can have things a little more complex and are branches, and the branch, this is one element, but I can start to have things attached to my element. Okay, for example, let me try to recreate something. I'm not sure if it is already. You see that if I choose only the element, it does not recognize me these new things I've done, but if I choose the branch, does not consider. Also, let me try to find you a better example about this. If I insert, for example, a new cylinder, I can try to insert this. Let us rotate. Okay, I will make a Boolean operation and create one single solid. For example, I can create now something like 10, 10, for example, something like this. Try to rotate this, for example, and for example also like this. Okay, I think it's at least is. Let us see if it is okay or not. Well, almost not visible. Let us try to work around a little around this and push it a little out, and now it should be okay. I will unify this with this, and hopefully now if I say branch, let's try to move this. Did not work as I was expecting. Let us try to this has to do with the level that we construct this, but for example, if I go a little behind and if I insert now this guy here, let us insert it now, and we'll make this Boolean operation before I think now, okay, it is considered already one single, even this, okay, I think now it is perceptible. So the difference, it is here a single element, so you see this element only, or this element, but if I say branch, I can choose these two guys here at once because they are already connected somehow, okay? And if I say this, if I try to move now, okay, just say the okay, and everything was translated, okay? So this is the idea of single element and the idea of branch, okay? It's a little different. We have also the possibility to make a selection by the three things of the three of elements, the Boolean tree. Sorry, this is the better name. So I can open the Boolean tree and I can select things here for the translation. For example, okay, the whole, and now it is open for selection. Okay, I can make this selection inside of this. Okay, I can select all solids in space also. Okay, it's a little different, entire solid or all solids. I can have selection by these selection windows, very similar to what we've seen on the 2D, and it is the same, completely inside, this is touching, completely outside and touching. So for example, completely inside, so if I say this, the blue one is completely inside, the red one it is only touching, so only the blue will be selected, okay? So we can have this function also previously selected, so it will look for the last selection done, okay? And it was, in this case, nothing was selected, but it will look around for the last one. I have also a couple of functions here that I will need a couple of other things. For example, sorry, and this on the previous selection, you see that I have the whole selected. Sorry, I did not mention this. I can make the undo selection and undo this. But I need now to show you these guys here a couple of other things. For example, I can make, and I will use another function that you still did not know, I can give some attributes to solid. So I can give, for example, among other things, I can give names. So for example, solid 1. This is something that we are going to see also later, so please don't worry about this. And I can say the same to this solid 2. So okay also. So I have one of the options, it is select by name or attributes. So solid, and I can choose solid 2 is selected, okay? And I can choose now for the normal one as solid 1. This is to show you also that when I choose something, I can come to this here, this command here, and do the unselect and say, hey, I made a mistake, and this is to unselect, okay? Besides this, we have this function from 3D groups, okay? It was the same here that we see a little back. So I can create a new group, group 1 again, and I can say add solids, and the solid it is this, okay? So now if I do again to this selection, I have already the function for the groups ready. Group 1 selected, okay? Very easy also. Now this leaves us with these options that we see here. I will open them. They are not available, they are great because we don't have anything defined for this, so we need to make some definitions so that the system recognizes the existence of these kind of issues that I will explain. Okay, you can see the anchor thing similar like these guys here. Okay, so these are constraints. I will not speak a lot about them now, just tell you some basic stuff. We will have the opportunity to see this deeper in one of the future lessons. So the first thing I will do is geometric constraints among solids. So I will create something between these two solids, and in the case it is a distance that they will be apart, considering this face to this face of this guy here. So moving the blue one and saying from this axis here, x, I want a distance to a patch it is a surface. This patch here, and I want a distance of 30, for example, is directed or from patch. Okay, can be in this direction, or if it was on the other direction, okay, 30. Now it had two constraints, so I need to take one of these. Sorry, I will do it again. This solid, it will be the one, okay. The red, it will be from this one, 30, and it will go on the other direction, okay. It is considering the reference point for this face, okay. So now you see that if we go to the selection, now I have already these guys open, so I can choose by a group of solids, constrained solids, and this has constraints, so I can choose it and now edit it, or I could choose from a constraint scheme, so saying it is nothing in particular, it's just saying, okay, I have something already defined for constrained groups and so on, so I could choose the objects that have this scheme, okay. This is just selection. I have two options in this topic of the constraints. First, it is a relation between solids, and I can have a relation between elements in the same solid. Okay. For example, I have these two things here, which is a hole and this round object here. I can give some kind of relation of distance between both of them, and I can go to this command here and say, okay, I will work on this one. Okay, and I can say again, for example, many things I could say, but I can say on the blue one, which is the Y, I can say, for example, distance from a rotation axis, and I can say that the axis is this, and I can say also that it is aligned with the rotation axis, for example, and directed against. Okay, very good. And the distance will be, for example, let's say 40. Okay, and saying okay. Now I have a relation of distance between these two diameters. Okay, I can say like this. So if I open, now I have all of these things available. Okay, all of them we already see how they work. The new one, it is a group of constraint elements, so I could choose, okay, from the constraint elements I have in my file. In this case, it's just this guy here, so chosen. I could choose again on the constraint solids, and okay, I have all these methods to choose objects, elements, whatever it is, to make in the end, and this is the purpose of the command, to make a transformation. Okay, again, it is selection. I can undo selection, I can deselect things, as you already seen, and when everything it is at my goodwill, chosen as I want, whatever you can call it, just do the OK, and now it will make a transformation as we've seen. Okay, they are grabbed. In this case I choose to, so, and it is done. It was not done because I have the constraints. Okay, I'm just picking without much care, that's why it did not work. But basically the selection, it can be done considering all these options here. Okay, I hope this was not very confused, because we are mentioning these things of the constraints. This is a little more complex. It is very powerful, but a little more complex than the regular addition of shapes and creation of basic solids. We will return for sure to these topics in a little more deep in one of the lessons that are remaining to end the training course. So with this, I end this lesson. I hope to see you on the next one.